as usual, we're going to wait just a couple more minutes for more people to join us today before we start the webinar. In the meantime, for the 50 or so who have joined us so far, can you please just say a hello in the chat, tell us where you're from, what Nexford program you're possibly interested in. We'd love to learn more about you. Got the first hello from Latifat. Hi. I have a raised hand, a hello from Taiwo as well. Ronalyn from the Philippines. Amazing, hi. It must be late as well now in the Philippines, I assume. I mean, I would know from Roji as well. We have Terry Hill from Lagos, Nigeria. Interested in the MBA, that's fantastic. Sure, we're gonna talk a bit about the MBA today, so that's good. We have a hello from Jennifer. We have Zaid from Iraq, that's amazing. Thanks for joining us today. Sheila in the Philippines. Someone from the UAE. Jennifer from Malawi, amazing. Mercy from Kenya. Wow, we have people from all around the world today. That's fantastic. I lost the one from UAE, guys. There's so many people joining, so the chat's going on fast. That's amazing. We have Sheila who's interested in integrated marketing, communications, and digital marketing. That's very specific. That's amazing. We do have a lot of marketing courses. All right, guys. We have Dan Lad from UAE as well. And hello, Kira, Jonas, sorry, from Ethiopia. This is amazing. I'm so happy you guys are joining us from around the world. This is very exciting. I think we can get started. We have quite a bunch of people who have joined us already. Just heads up, this is being recorded. So if you've just joined in, don't worry if you need to leave at any point or if you think you missed something, it's going to be recorded. So you're going to be able to see a playback on YouTube, hopefully, in a few days. With that, I want to say final hello to Usman from India. I'm so excited that so many people are joining us from around the world today. So this is going to be great. Let's get started. So my name is Mai, and I'm an advisor here at Nexford University. I've been with Nexford for almost 3 years now. And during that time, it's been an amazing journey. I've spoken to so many learners from all around the world and so many aspiring learners such as yourselves as well today that are looking to further their studies and hopefully reach certain career goals in the global market and around the world. So I'm excited to tell you guys more about the Nexford learning experience. That's the question we get often, is how exactly will I be studying online at Nexford? How's the online platform like? So we're going to tap into all of that hopefully today. And I've got some great people on board with me today to help me tell that story. I've got Dr. Bill Reed, who is one of our faculty members. I've got Ola, who is an MBA learner joining us from the UK. And I have Roji, who is another MBA learner as well, joining us from the Philippines. So I would love for you guys to introduce yourselves. If we can start with Dr. Bill.
Hi, thank you, Mai. Hi, yes. Hello to everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever the case may be. I am Dr. Bill. I've been with Nexford for just coming up on 2 years now. I have been active in online education at the graduate level for almost 20 years. I have a lot of experience in it, and I'm happy to share that experience as well as the content material I teach mostly in the master's program. I live about 100 kilometers southeast of New York City, which is the background you're looking at. And I live about 100 kilometers right over the top of my head south. I enjoy teaching at Nexford simply because of the variety and the global scope, as Maya has mentioned, that people from all over are join us here. I saw one person from Port Harcourt in Nigeria. In fact, I have a one-on-one conference call with a person from that city in about an hour from now. So welcome. We'll go over the course in a little bit, but I'm glad all of you signed up to come and hear a little bit about what we do here. I think you would find an interesting program as well as a rewarding program. I'll go more into that later, but welcome and thank you.
Amazing. Thanks so much, Dr. Bill. All right, I'd love to hear from you, Ola. If you can introduce yourselves to everyone and also tell us what Nexford program you're studying and also how long you've been with Nexford.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Good morning, good evening, wherever you are all over the world. My name is Ola Tuboso Haladipo. I've been working professionally for close to 10 years in the financial sector back in Africa and also in the financial sector right now in the UK. And I'm studying my MBA currently, Nexford. I started just a little less than a year ago, basically, and I've been having the fun of my life. Thank you very much.
So glad to hear that. Thank you, Ola. Love to hear from you as well, Roji, if you can introduce yourself and what program you're studying and how long you've been.
All right. Good evening, everyone from the Philippines, and good afternoon, good morning, depending on the time that you're tuning for tonight's for this session. My name is Roji Enriquez. I'm an UD professional. I've been working for about more than 10 years already, mostly in banks, and I'm an HR professional. I'm currently an MBA learner for a few months now. How can I describe my learning journey so far with Nexford? It's very interactive, engaging, and at the same time very informative. No? There's a lot of materials there's a lot of information that are available online that is really helping me get to know more of the world in the context of business.
Fantastic. I'm so glad to hear that, Roji. Thank you. All right, guys. And with that, now you guys know who we have on board with us today, and we're all going to be able to show you more about the Nexford learning experience and the Nexford online platform as well. So with that, I'll start sharing my screen. And for those who have just joined us, don't worry, you haven't missed much. This is also being recorded, so you will be able to watch a playback of this on YouTube. Guys, start sharing my screen of the online platform. It may take a second, so bear with me. Can I just confirm that you guys can hear me though?
Yeah, we can hear you now, but the screen is still a little blank.
There we go.
Perfect. We can see now.
Okay, perfect. Sorry guys, it can take a second sometimes just to share my screen. I hope you can all see my screen now. All right, so what we're looking at currently is the online learning platform at Nexford. And I'm excited to tell you guys more about this specific LMS, which is short for Learning Management System. It's something we have, started using just recently compared to the old one, and it's called Canvas. And we've partnered up with them. It's known to be adopted by top universities like Harvard and Oxford. And so I'm sure our learners will really agree that it's making for a much more smoother online learning experience. So let me tell you more about it today and show you around and some of its great features. So this is the homepage, and this is what you would have access to 5 days before your chosen program start date. So let's say you are enrolling at Nexford to start your program on June 1. You would need to apply and enroll, I would say 5 days before the start of that month, and that gives you enough time to go through this platform to get acquainted with it. You'll also be asked to take the NXU Orientation, which I'll tell you guys about just in a few seconds or a few minutes. And so you would receive your login credentials, right, to be able to access this platform and get more accustomed to it within those 5 days before you start your official program. Right, and with that, let me tell you more about the main features. So this is the dashboard. In the middle here, you're going to see all the courses that you would be enrolled in at Nexford. You can enroll in more than one course at the same time, which is why you're seeing more than one item here, right, more than one box. But the Writing Lab and the NXU Orientation aren't courses within your actual Nexford program, and I'll tell you why in a second. But these two courses, for example, are courses that I've enrolled myself in. Of course, I'm not an expert learner, but this is to show you guys how it would look like. And yes, it's true, you can enroll in more than one course at the same time. So that can be, you know, a short certificate, single courses, something like that, or they can be two courses within the same program that you're studying, whether it be an MBA or a BBA. So you can go one course at a time, or you can take up to 3 and 4 courses at the same time, and that allows you to complete your program faster. And overall, you would need to pay less since you only pay for the number of months you spend studying at Nexford. I'll of course tell you guys more about that later, but let's talk about the sort of simple and fun features first of the homepage. So you'll see these are sort of color coordinated. This is something you have control over. Right, and you know, you can change that, you can do an overlay, or you don't have to. And why that matters, I'll tell you why, because if you click on calendar, it'll take you to this page, and you'll find that these are automatic reminders that get added to your calendar depending on the course that you are enrolled in. So they can be, you know, assignment reminders, things like that. So you'll see them, they're already here, and they are color coordinated depending on the colors you pick for each course from the outside here, from the homepage. Of course, you can change your view. You'll have full control. It's a very dynamic calendar. You can add as many items as you like. You can make it a quick, you know, event or quick to do, something like that. Or you can make it much more fleshed out. You can put much more details. So you have full control of your calendar. And the great thing is that this is something that you can sync with your PC or your laptop. You can also sync this with your mobile phone. And this is also in thanks to the fact that there is a Canvas application, you know, so that's an application where you can access the online learning environment at Nexford. So if you have an Android, you can just download this Canvas student app. That's where you can access it. It's also definitely available for Apple also, so you can download it on your iPhone. You'll see that it's a fully functional mobile application, just like the online platform here. You can access your courses, you can do your assignments, you can get reminders for your assignments, and definitely sync your calendar and get notifications straight to your phone. So that way you'll never fall behind on anything. All right, so that's the benefits of the calendar as well as using the application. Let's talk more about the left-hand side here. You'll see that there's some quick icons, some quick buttons. You know, if you want to see an overview of all the courses that you're enrolled in, you'll see them here. That's your calendar, of course. You'll see a history, which will show you the last items that you clicked on, as well as timestamps, which is super useful. You want to go back to something you opened recently and you can't remember where that was. And then finally, there are these extra resources. We will get to these later. So there's LinkedIn Learning, which is something you get access to as a Nexford learner. There's this robust NXU Library. So NXU, if you guys hear me say that, is short for Nexford University. So there's an NXU Library and then a success scheduler. But before we get to those, let's talk about the other main features on the homepage here. You'll see this Ask NXU button. This will follow you no matter what page you're on the platform. And basically what it is that if you have any questions you feel aren't very complicated, you don't necessarily need to reach out to our help team for it or to reach out to an advisor at Nexford. And you feel like you can probably find the answer here, then I would recommend you just search for it. You can type anything, you'll find the response. You'll find some suggested articles. If you click on that, you'll see that it's pretty fleshed out, you know, what information you need. And if it still doesn't, you know, answer your question, you'll always find who else you can contact to get more information. So I recommend you don't forget about this tool. It's like I said, it's going to be in every page, as you can see, no matter where you go on the platform. I talked about the calendar. I want to tell you guys also about the inbox. So this is super useful. The inbox is where you can get, you know, these sort of reminders from different faculty throughout your program. You can chat with your professor here. You can chat with other learners. You can like send messages. It's like your private inbox. You can definitely compose a new message. You can choose which course you're actually enrolled in. Let's say Roadmap to Success. You can choose if you want to speak to a teacher or a student, and depending who's enrolled in that, you can pick somebody. Just write the subject, write what you want to send that person, and that's it. You'll start communicating, and they would definitely get a notification for this, whether it's in their mailbox, on their PC, or their mobile phone. So this is a very easy way to communicate with anybody, whether it's your professor, a fellow learner, or someone else on the faculty, or even a success advisor, which I'll tell you guys more about. All right, up until now, if anybody has any questions about the sections I have gone over so far, please don't forget to send your questions to the Q&A section, preferably there, not the chat box, because that'll be easier for us to pick up at the end when we do address some questions, do some Q&A at the end of the webinar. So I recommend you send the questions now, and we'll definitely get to them at the end. Also, another reminder that for anyone joining late, I see some people that joined later, this is being recorded. If you've missed the first portion so far, don't worry, you'll be able to watch a playback on YouTube. All right, let's continue. So you'll find some just quick reminders here, like to-dos and things like that. You can just remove that if you like. And then there's a button to quickly see your grades. So that's, I know, is going to be a priority for anybody studying at Nexford. So you can click on that here and then get to that right away. Of course, I don't currently have grades, I believe, because like I said, this is just a demo, so I'm not currently studying at Nexford. All right, with that, I'm going to quickly jump to the NXU orientation. So I mentioned this earlier, you would get access to this platform 5 days before your chosen program start date. Within that time, you would also get access to the NXU orientation. You'd be technically enrolled in that, but it isn't an official course within your program. Rather, it's sort of your welcome package that you need to go through before starting your official program. You'll see that this is the home button for that. You're officially inside the NXU orientation. This is how it looks like. There'll always be an introduction, as well as an overview of the modules. So for the NXU orientation, it only has 3 modules, as opposed to every course at Nexford has 6 modules and a final project. So this only has 3, as well as a closing. You need to complete them in order. And I'll show you the first module of that, how it looks like. So this is the first section. You'll get a welcome to Nexford University. As soon as you start, you'll even see a welcome video from our CEO and founder, Fadil Tarzi. I will play that for you guys just for a few seconds.
For the workplace. That's why I set out. It's been said that the future is a convenient place for dreams, so why not dream big? I've always known education changes lives, but I first realized its impact over a decade ago. On my entrepreneurial journey, I saw a gap between the skills of college graduates and the needs of employers. With my own startups, I struggled to find people with the right competencies. For example,
that's just a sneak peek for you guys. You can definitely watch it in its entirety, hopefully, once you enroll at Nexford. And I want to just say that this is an example of the different, dynamic elements through which you're going to be studying at Nexford. It's not just going to be a lot of text. You'll find videos like these are going to be audio clips within the course, within the module. There'll be blog length articles, outside resources, little quizzes here and there, many dynamic elements. We always make sure to keep you engaged. We don't want you falling asleep as you're going through your course. We need to make sure you're clicking on these elements to show that you are going through the program, and so on. And with this course, this video, you'll see that there is a video transcript. So that's a written transcript that you can download. And this is the case for, I believe, all videos throughout your modules. And you'll see that you can even send feedback directly to the CEO. So you'll have that liberty right from the start. This sort of comes to show how I would say the Nexford family, and we do call ourselves that at Nexford, we're all connected. You can reach out to anyone at any point, whether it's our marketing team, our billings team, admissions, success team, tech team, and so on. So you'll find so many different departments you can definitely contact, and this even includes the CEO. So anytime you have feedback, anything you want to discuss with any team, any relevant team, you'll see that we're always happy to help. And this is sort of a minimized view of the NXU Orientation or any module actually or any course at Nexford. You can open that in a new tab and you'll find it much bigger. So completely up to you. So there's so many ways that you can sort of personalize your learning experience. So I won't go much further into the NXU Orientation, but I'll give you guys just an idea that what it is it will tell you everything you need to know to get started at Nexford. It'll tell you how to reach out to your professors, what learning communities are. It'll help you join these. You'll see that they're different depending on the topic that you're interested in, whether it's finance, whether it's human resources, and so on. So you can join these different learning communities that will definitely help you throughout your program. WhatsApp groups from around the world that you can join. So some of them are country specific, some of them are learner specific, and some are intake specific. Specifically, let's say if you were to start your program in June, then you can join a WhatsApp group only for June learners. So I definitely recommend this. It's a great support system. As soon as you get started at Nexford, it's a great way also to meet learners from around the world. So do some networking, get to know, like learners from around the world. So just to let you know, we have learners from over 85 countries around the world right now. That is a lot. I would recommend you don't miss out on that opportunity. You could meet somebody from the opposite end of the world that you have a lot in common with. We've heard stories of learners even helping each other out, let's say job-wise or things and opportunities. So I just feel like there's a lot of opportunity there to network with so many different learners from around the world. All right, so that's the NXU orientation. We'll have around 5 days to complete that as we join Nexford. I want to jump next to an actual course that is included in the MBA. So that is called Leadership and Organizational Development. So let's say you have enrolled in this course and it's scheduled in your calendar to be the course that you're about to start the next month. Before you even begin that, if you want to know, okay, who is the professor who's actually enrolled in this course with me, you can just click on people and you'll find a list of who's with you on this course. You can even message them from before you even start the course, and it'll tell you who the, like I said, the professor is for this. And in this case, for this course, the professor is actually Dr. Bill, who is with us in the webinar today. So I'd love for him to, I would say, take the mic here and tell us more about this course.
Sure. Do I have the control now, Mike?
Second, let me know.
Okay. The course itself, as Mai said, you'll be assigned it, and I just opened up the various modules in this course. This is one of the courses you'll probably take as you get going. You will see a list here of the various modules, normally 5 or 6 of them. Let me go to the assignments, it's a little clearer. And here is what you will need to do in the course. You were given time to do each module. We have a lot of information in the course to help you, reading, PowerPoints, whatever particularly we use for that course. And you just get going with my guidance or whoever's the professor and work through it. I think one of the important factors I could share with you as you start a program like this is do not let the technology intimidate you. This is a learning management system. It cannot reach out and grab you or do anything like that. You can almost rarely do anything wrong if you hit the wrong button. If you're doing something really wrong, then you're going to get a warning about it, but that doesn't happen at all. So I always suggest to the people to go in, look over the entire course, see what it looks like, see what assignments you think are going to be fairly easy for you, identify ones that you don't know too much about that might take a little longer. So you can go through this and see what is required in the course. Throughout the course, your professor would be available to you. There is messaging in the course, as Mai mentioned. As you can see right here, this would indicate to me that I have 7 messages waiting in that course that I would answer. That's usually the first thing I do in the morning with my cup of tea or coffee, and answer questions. Also available, every faculty member will have at least once a month live session where we invite everyone to come on board, ask questions, get guidance, whatever. I also offer the option of doing Zoom meetings one-on-one. As I mentioned, I'm doing one here shortly after this session, and get together. But the course management itself is relatively easy. Each of these tabs here will help you get somewhere. You'll see your grades. You can see who's in the class. You can have a chat in the class. There is an announcement section where I put up notices. I might say, hey, remember you have an assignment due on the 15th, on the 20th. I may put up tips there that say, hey, I see a lot of people not doing this right. I just do it that way. But feedback is always available, of which you can see. You get both a rubric, and each course has a rubric. It is an outline of what the professor uses to grade that course. So basically what that is to you is a blueprint of what you need to look at in that course. And if you look at the rubric and then create your answer, you have a good chance of doing it pretty well if you have the information available. I also recommend that we have, and I think Mai will talk about this later, we have a writing coach who is very, very good at helping people who have trouble with writing. We do use what's called APA writing style. It's a requirement of how you set the paper up, how you do your references. Don't want to get into it too much right now, but we have a lot of help material on that because the papers are required to be done in that format. Not hard to learn, a little bit of practice. You may be used to it, you may not to, but again, this is here to learn. The course covers the period of the term at 6-8 weeks. You have to do these, and you can get help along the way. If emergencies come up during the course, which happens, life happens to everybody. People get sick, surprise work assignments. Let your professor know. I mean, most of us are extraordinarily accommodating. We have been through this a lot. I've been in this for a long time, and I know life events happen. So if something happens, don't think it's the end of your program. We'll figure something out. We've had so much emergencies, particularly over the last couple of years with this COVID issue that so many people have been impacted by. We found a lot of new ways to help people through this and to show that we care and get you through it. The point of this course and all courses is to provide you with additional information that applies to the topic. The information is there, but you're going to do a lot of learning. You're going to learn a lot about the content of the course, and you're going to learn a lot about yourself, which is equally important. You're going to learn about expanding your own capacities. You're going to find things that you've done in work or will do, if those of you who haven't been in the work environment that long. You'll come across terms, terminology, and policies and practices. You'll see something that, oh, we do that in our company, but I didn't know it had a name. You'll be able to identify many things that will build your own personal toolkit so that you can move ahead either in your career and in your personal lives. The course is just one of the tools we do to do that. If you need extra help, it's available. If you go right through it very quickly, that's possible. And you may be a topic that you're very familiar with, or it may be a topic that's brand new to you, which is the whole purpose of education, is to bring it together, increasing your personal toolkit and increasing your knowledge. I've always said these degrees will help you. They will not solve all your problems. It's the personal growth and the personal development coupled with the content material and the knowledge that will help you move ahead. In these programs, we do address it as in both areas. This is part of how we get things accredited and how we get success in these programs. The exact details of the course are relatively simple. There's many ways you could check that as you're exploring how we do this here. But I think that's the general overview of how we do it. We're available. The material's available. It's 24/7. You can look at it when you have time. If you get busy for a couple of days, it's not the end of the world. It's fine. You just catch up a little bit more. If you know you have a busy period coming up in 2 weeks, you can work ahead of time. It's perfectly fine that way, which is really the strongest point of learning in this type of environment. So I'll let this go back to Mai here to move us ahead. But if you have any questions, we will have time at the end of the presentation here today to address that. So thank you very much. And Mai, back to you, please.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Bill. So in line with what Dr. Bill has shared with us also about the online learning experience and your course, it's definitely true that this is accessible to you 24/7. So it's important to note that there aren't specific times of the day that you're going to be required to log in and, you know, attend, let's say, some sort of live or recorded video, things like that. It's completely up to you. While there are deadlines you need to meet, while you need to complete every course at least within 2 months, which is, I would say, really more than enough time that's for some people to need to complete their course. That means that you can log in any time of the day, any time of the week, as long as you meet your, your module, assignments, deadlines, things like that. And so I'd love to hear more about Ola, sort of in line with this. How do you, can you tell us more about your studying style with Nexford? How do you manage your schedule around your studies?
Yeah, thanks a lot for that, Mai. For me, really, because obviously I've got my regular job. What I do is, anytime I get back from home, I just try. Yes, I'm a family man, but I try to just make out time, say maybe 2 hours, just to make sure that I'm up to speed with my course. And it might be flexible for somebody else. You might have more hours or lesser hours to do it. But for me personally, I just ensure that, you know, I commit at least 2 hours a day to my coursework. And what I would also like to point out is in the coursework, there are items that aside from the regular coursework, there are links to other materials that I would like to advise that people take advantage of. For me personally, it's helped me tremendously. It helped me, you know, broaden my understanding further on the topic, on the courses. And I like to advise that people take that up. So for me, really, I'm just flexible. At least I make sure that 2 hours I commit to it every day. Thank you very much for that, Mike.
Hi, Maya, are you there? You look like your picture's frozen. This happens from time to time. But maybe while Maya's getting this worked out, Roger, what about you, and how did you adjust to the schedule and the demands as you see it in accomplishing what you've done so far?
Well, it's really about time management and prioritizing your coursework. I usually have long commutes going to and from our home, going to a work and going back home. And I spend those times as in a strategic way that because the Nexford University's Canvas application is available on your mobile phone. So I try to maximize my time on the commute. So I view my courses using my mobile phone, and I also try to listen to videos, of course. And what I really appreciate about the Nexford University resource is that you have a free resource with LinkedIn. So these are bite-sized information that you can look at, and these are very rich in terms of information that can enrich your learning experience with Nexford. So I really appreciate that, and I'm really maximizing the LinkedIn platform because it's really relevant to what I'm doing right now with my work.
That's Rosie. That's a great example of the flexibility that we built in different ways. So I see Maya's back.
Yes, we had a very momentary, like it was a 1 minute power out. It was such poor luck. So sorry guys, I disappeared for a second, but thank you, Dr. Bill. I believe you were asking Roji about his experience, right, with the program.
Yeah, and then
Okay.
I answered it already.
Yeah, we did that one. Thanks.
You're welcome. Thank you. So with that, I just want to share my screen again and quickly just talk about assignments, because we get asked a lot as well. You know, how exactly will I be submitting my assignments at Nexford? So if we can quickly just talk about how that looks like with an example from the course also of leadership and organization development. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. So I will give the mic to you again, Dr. Bill here. If you can just tell us quickly just about this course as well as the sort of grading rubric. But before that, I'll just quickly say that for some assignments, you will see that there's a document, let's say it could be a PDF, it could be a Word document. You'll be asked to download that and then put your answers in there and then upload it. So I will show you guys that. Scroll to the bottom, you'll see the actual document. So of course, again, I'm not an expert learner, but I pretended to download this document and pretended like to answer it. You'll see that it's this is where your answers would be. This is sort of a table format for this case for change, which I'll let Dr. Bill talk more about, but I just want to say this is sort of how it looks like. You can see that the professors such as Dr. Bill can put comments, you can submit those comments to you. There'll always be points for improvement for you. For every course or every assignment, so you know what you can do better the next time or what you did great already. And then you'll have access to this rubric beforehand so that you know which areas you need to meet for certain grades. So you can tell us just quickly about this, Dr. Bill.
Well, sure. You can see there's a rubric I referred to. There's normally 4, 5, 6 criteria that's listed on the left, and they title what's going on. Now, this first one calls requirements, and it explains what grade group would apply to each one. You would get the total. If you did this perfectly, you would get 20 points out of 20. If not, you would get whatever number is the professor would assign. And then the professor would go through this. This is the rubric I mentioned that you could use to guide yourself to do the paper or the assignment. Now, many of the assignments are set up in template format, like you just saw, where you can fill in the answers. And then there are other assignments that are essay style, which would require you to set up the paper accordingly. Each of these categories is important. Depth of analysis is very important, at least I view it that way, to show you how deep you go into your research, into your thinking on the topic. Writing clarity, you know, the MBA is called the writing degree. So you do need to be able to verbalize and print out your explanation, and you will run into that if you haven't already in your business careers as well. So the system will take these categories, and then there's, of course, APA formatting applies. That's a whole topic, but again, if you were to look at the APA manual, there might be 50 different ways to cite something. Here at Nexford, we use maybe 3 or 4 of them. It's not a major task. This here is the template we talked about. You would provide your answer on the right side. And of course, following the instructions is really important. I've seen people present wonderful answers to the wrong question. So you need to watch what you're doing and pay attention and focus on the questions. And this is one of the templates we're talking about, and then you would get graded on that. At the end of the rubric grading, the professor has an area where they can provide narratives, where I can say, hey, you did this, but you know, the APA compliance was a little off. You didn't cite it right. I may say you may need to discuss a little bit more about the leadership theory that applies to what you're talking about. It was too light, or, you know, great job, excellent paper, let's go on, something like that. This is not meant to slow you up or speed you up. This is meant to give you a critique of your thinking. Many times we'll find some things that we have to talk more about. The important thing here is that you need to demonstrate your knowledge and understanding of the topic. That's what the focus is. And if you do that successfully, you'll get through it. If you need a little extra help, let the professor know. We're not here to fail you. We're here for you to succeed. We don't get ahead ourselves with you failing. So we're here to help you and work you through these rubrics and walk you through the assignments. We also understand, because I work with a lot of the courses that you'll see early in your program, a lot of people need extra help at the beginning. That's fine. Don't be afraid of that. We're very used to that. We have a number of ways. We have the writing coach, we have advisors, we have professors. We'll get that done. You will have all the help you need, particularly early on, to make sure that you get into the right pattern so you go through the rest of the program without all those difficulties. If you learn things early, it gets a lot easier later on.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Dr. Bill. I couldn't have said it better myself, especially about the support, which is what I want to tell you guys more about now. I go back to the homepage here, or actually, if you are on any page on the online platform, you'll always see this navigation pane that's also following you. If you scroll to the bottom, you'll see this success scheduler. If you click on that, it'll take you to this advising session booking page. So to tell you more about these success advisors, they are these lovely people we have in our faculty. They are there to sort of be something like your coach or your mentor to help you throughout your program, especially in the first few months. You will be assigned from the beginning a dedicated and personal success advisor that you will meet within those 5 days before your program starts as well. So that'll be alongside you going through the orientation. So you won't ever feel alone. You'll have this person helping you in the beginning, especially, let's say, I would say maybe the first 3 months of your program. And does it mean when they leave, you're no longer going to have support? No, you will have 24/7 support. You can still reach out to our whole success team. They're always there available for you to talk with. And this is one of the many ways that you can do that. So earlier we said the inbox. So that's one of the ways. And then this is another way is that you can book a call. So that's a 30-minute session with any success advisor. If you've already been assigned one, let's pick next month. So let's say you've already, let me do here. So let's say you've already met your success advisor, the one you've been assigned, and they're not available. Let's say it's Camille, she's not available. You can pick any other success advisor you can speak to, pick a different timing. Just put in your details and then that's it. You'll have book day session to speak with them. So this can be about anything about the online learning experience. It can be about your course, just any help you need. The success advisor is the person to go to for this. That's one of the many ways you can get support. The other way is the writing lab, which Dr. Bill also touched on earlier. But just before I get to that, I want to hear more about, from our learners today, like how have you found the success team support during your learning journey so far? And have you been able to reach out to fellow learners for help? Can I ask Ola first about this?
Well, thank you very much for that, Mai. For me, yes, I've had a couple of encounters with the success advisors, and I say that it's been quite immensely beneficial to me. They are there to, like you said, even if you need to ask questions or directions, they are there to provide and point you in the right direction. And for me, really, one of the discussions I had then, like Dr. Bill also mentioned, that at the inception, people have challenges on how to navigate, what to do at part-time and all of that. So at the inception of my course, that was what I was engaging with my success advisors. And they were able to, first of all, calm my nerves down. Like, hey, relax, you're going to do this. Just take your time and relax. And I think that was beneficial for me. It helped me, set the foundation for what I was able to build on the course. And they will also be able to, for instance, my personal experience was I do one course per time. And part of the discussions that the success advisor had with me was that you are able to do two courses at the same time. Can you do that? And I'm like, yes, I can, but I don't want to push myself in that direction. I like to just take my time and handle each course as I go. And they were like, fine, if that's the route that I want to go, then that's fine. So I think that having them is of immense benefit, to have someone to speak to about what you're currently going through as regards your course and how to navigate. So I think for me, really, it's been immensely, immensely beneficial. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing, Ola. I'm glad to hear that. And I think Roji can sort of relate with you in some of the things you said about your experience. So I'd love to hear from Roji as well.
Well, the success advisors are called to be success advisors because they are really setting you up for success. And I think one of the things that I really appreciate about the advisors is that they're really friendly and they really want to provide you with the best advice possible for you to be able to adjust to this new learning environment. One of my experiences with them is that they've been able to remind me about completing a course. They even called me up, and I appreciate that because sometimes you get too busy that you forget things. And I think because of their immense concern for you to be able to finish a course, they go out of their way to be able to reach out to you. And I think that's something that this particular learning platform is very much acquainted into. And one of the things that I also appreciate is that the advisors are there to provide you with certain tips, which I think helps us give a face to the online university. Most of the time, we feel very alone. And I think the success advisors help us feel that we're not alone in this particular journey. And I think that's something that I hope that you as a future learner right now will really appreciate eventually.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing, Roji. All right. And with that, I think we can talk about the writing lab, which is something we mentioned a few times throughout the webinar so far. So you'll see that it's always going to be in your dashboard on the main page. It's called the writing lab. And this is specifically because we know not everybody is a natural born writer, specifically for the types of assignments you're going to be required to do during your program. There are going to be certain formatting, such as APA formatting, which Dr. Bill also mentioned a few times, is something that might be completely foreign to you. It might be new. And so you're going to be taught how to use that. If in general, you just want to improve your academic writing or your English skills, you'll find all the tools and the tips and tricks for that here. So before I talk about our writing lab coach, I'll just give you a sneak peek of the module. So you'll find so many different areas here, which is related to writing, whether it's paraphrasing, essay writing, so much more. So you'll find all the things you need really to help you succeed in writing your assignments throughout your Nexford program. Back to the home page here, you'll see at the beginning usually these little things you can, announcements. And what are announcements? You will get notifications for these on your mobile app or your mobile phone. If you do download that, if not, you will get email notifications for this. You'll see that they're also in your inbox. So what they are is, it can be done by faculty or our tech team. In this case, these are all announcements that our writing lab coach, Caroline Fernandez, is sharing with learners across the board. And she does these drop-in sessions quite regularly where you can join these calls with other learners from around the world and share any questions, any concerns, any challenges that you have with writing, and she can definitely help you with that. I would definitely recommend these drop-in sessions. Sometimes we have more than 80 learners that join it at a time. It's a great way also to meet other learners from around the world, and perhaps hearing their questions might help you think of something that you wanted to ask about as well. If not, if you would prefer to have a one-on-one session with Caroline, that is an option. By clicking on this booking link here, it'll take you to a similar booking page like the one we saw earlier for Success Advisors, except this is specifically for Caroline. You can pick any day of the week, any timing that she's available, and put in your details and then book as well. And then you'll have a 30-minute session. So that's one of the many ways that we help you in that area as well. Right, and finally, I do want to tell you guys about the final icons here that I mentioned before. So we have the NXU Library. Like I said, it's really a robust library you get access to as a Nexford learner. You can use this throughout your program. You'll find, I think there are millions of resources here. They can be encyclopedias, blog length articles, research papers, so much more that go over so many different areas and topics and industries. And that's really going to help you throughout your program. You can even apply it, get this information for your own career, I would say. So it's quite a robust library that we have. So that's one of the many benefits you get as a Nexford learner. Aside from that, you also get access to LinkedIn Learning. So if you're familiar with LinkedIn, you'll know that they have this area called LinkedIn Learning where they have over 16,000 videos and courses that you can watch and get certificates for. They cover so many different topics as well. And as a Nexford learner, you get unlimited access to this throughout your whole program. So a lot of our learners love this benefit. You'll see them posting on their social media. They can, share their certificate of completion. It's a great way to show your employer or just your community that you're learning on the go and you're applying these skills. You're doing extra learning next to your program, and you'll see that some of these LinkedIn Learning, videos might be already embedded in your modules at Nexford as a sort of extra learning for you if you wish to take it. You can definitely watch that. Aside from these LinkedIn Learning certificates, you also get digital badges upon completing some courses at Nexford, not all courses. You'll see they have these fun names like data-driven decision maker, financial decision supporter. So I know people might be thinking, well, what does that really entail? The great thing is anybody can click on that. It takes you to this official badger page where you can tell everybody exactly what skills you gained and knowledge and information that you gained in order to be awarded this digital badge. And you can see some of our learners make it sort of a hobby, I guess, of collecting these as well. It's a great pat on the back once you complete the course. Right. And aside from these, I would love to then talk also about our career services portal at Nexford. So before I tap into that, just as a final sort of career help that you get at Nexford, I want to hear also lastly from the learners here, Roji and Ola, if you can just tell us, have you had a chance to reach out to fellow learners throughout your program at all?
Hi, thanks for that, Mike. For me, really, yes, I've been a part of WhatsApp group, really, but like I said, I'm in the UK and virtually everyone in the WhatsApp group are somewhere else. So in that regard, I've not really been able to integrate and communicate. And just like Roger said, at some point you feel like you're alone, really. But Other than that, maybe that's why we have the success advisors to speak with. But other than that, no, I've not been able to communicate with fellow learners. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Michaela.
On my case, some learners have actually reached out to me through my LinkedIn account, and we tried to check out if there's a point of collaboration, whether it's gonna be on about Nexford University, about course that we do. And I think that for me, the channel where a lot of the learners from Nexford University communicate better for me is in LinkedIn, because it's has wider reach, and then we're able to talk efficiently there. But I think all that because I'm part of Nexford, and I think that's something that I appreciate about being part of this online university.
Okay, amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much, Roji. All right, we're nearing towards the end of our webinar, guys, by the way. So anybody who has any questions in mind, don't forget to send that in the Q&A section or the Q&A box so we can get to them in a few minutes. And if anyone's sending questions in the chat, we will definitely try to get to those as well, but they may be harder to sort of weed out, which is why I would recommend that you send them in the Q&A section so we don't miss your question. All right, and with that, I was just about to talk about the career services portal at Nexford. So let me share my screen again. So we often get the question also, as an Nexford learner, are you going to receive any sort of support or help when it comes to your job or your career? The answer is definitely yes, and this applies not just throughout your program, but even after you graduate. So this is our career services portal, which gives you an overview of all the different features related to career building that you get access to as an Nexford learner. Anybody can access this on our webpage, our website, by the way. So it's just nexford.org/career. As you scroll, you'll see it even gives you information of when exactly you're going to start getting these career planning sessions. So for your MBA, for example, you'll start as soon as your 3rd month learning with us. If you're studying a BBA or an AAS program, then that'll be right from the beginning. You'll get a career development advisor as well as a success advisor. And most importantly, you will get access to so many different resources. So one of which was LinkedIn Learning, which I've already mentioned earlier. There's also Localized. So this is a platform where you can create your own profile. This is how it looks like. And you can create your own profile. You'll get access to this, of course, at no extra cost, just by being an Nexford learner. It is where you can create a profile and get connected with career coaches and mentors around the world. You can even join virtual job fairs. It's an amazing platform also that can truly help you with your career. That's one of the many resources. The other is if you are based in Africa, then you will get access to IBM Digital Nation Africa. It's, I would say, more for those related to AI or cybersecurity or technology. So you'll really find that this is another great platform, sort of similar to LinkedIn Learning. So it has tons of videos and courses as well. And then, of course, LinkedIn Learning. And finally, there's something called the Global Grid. I don't know if any of you have heard of this yet, but it's a very exciting initiative that we've recently just launched also. So it's called the Global Grid. It's a mentorship program that will enable talent around the world to prepare for remote jobs. You'll see that there are webinars and exclusive group mentoring sessions that are, of course, only open to Nexford learners, to NXU learners. But these live webinars, we will hold them regularly, which anybody can join. As well, you'll see that our mentors come from all around the world, and they're handpicked for their industry expertise, and they work in companies like Samsung and Coca-Cola. You'll also get access to something called Forage. So we've also partnered with Forage. It's a career resource to get virtual work experience at real companies like JP Morgan and Accenture. It's a free resource that complements your learning as you get to apply skills you learn on the go. Plus, you can choose to share your task submissions with recruiters, which can lead to interview opportunities for internships. So you'll find these embedded in some of your courses as well and your modules at Nexford, and it's definitely optional for you to take, but I think it's a fantastic benefit also. All right, I think that about sums up our virtual tour for the day, which means we get to the exciting part and being able to answer all the questions you guys have sent in. So let's get started with that. But before, my apologies, before that, I do want some final words, I think, from our learners. Let's start with Roji. If you can just tell us quickly about your Nexford learning journey and what were some of your favorite parts as well as some of your challenges. Sorry, Roji, can you hear me?
Yeah, sorry, I was cut off.
Oh, no worries. Yeah, so I was just asking if you can share with everybody just a bit about your Nexford learning journey. You know, what were some of your challenges? What were some of your favorite parts?
Well, at the onset, you will see the transition from being a traditional school to an online platform, and you at first, as Dr. Bill already mentioned, that you'll be in a way shocked at the onset, but as you mentioned that when you're in the online platform, again, all these tools are here to help you out. And I think that one of my favorite things about learning online is the convenience of being able to learn on the go wherever you are, and also the additional tools that the modules provide. No? And one of the things that I really appreciate are the articles coming from various sources, because it really enrich your learning. You're not just learning through video contents, but also learning from different writers from different cultures. And I think this has been curated by your professors, and you're really you're assured that these are really good sources of information that can really provide you advanced knowledge about a certain topic that you are enrolled into. So that's something that I really appreciate, the abundance of information that is provided to me. And it's actually good. I mean, it's really cost efficient, no, for the amount that you're paying right now. It's actually very convenient for you to learn right now.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Roji. And also I want to ask you, how would you say your Nexford program has changed your life so far?
Well, definitely. I've been connected to a lot of people. I think a lot of barriers have been shattered. I feel that I can now communicate with people from different races. I feel more competent about how I'm doing right now with my role as a HR professional in my current bank. And I think it's all about confidence. And I think as I go on to learn more, I think I'll be more confident to speak to our business leaders because of this particular course. So I think that's one of the great things that Nexford University has provided me so far.
That's fantastic. I'm so glad that that's been your experience so far. I'd also love to hear from Ola. If you can also tell us about your Nexford learning journey and you know, some of your favorite parts or challenges.
Well, thank you very much for that, Ma. First of all, one of my favorite parts is the fact that I can learn at my own pace. That's very important for me. And then the other part, is the fact that I receive feedbacks from the professors. For me, I really, really cherish that. The fact that I do something, I do a coursework, I do an assignment, and then it's graded, and then I can get a feedback to say that you did great in this, you need to improve in this, and that helps me, it helps me improve my next assignment. And that's something I really, 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 really cherish from my point of view. And the other thing is that everything I've learned and everything I keep learning in my MBA, I've been able to apply in my regular job. And that for me makes it even more interesting, really. And those are the things that I really, really, really cherish doing my MBA with Nexford. Thank you.
Fantastic. So glad to hear that, Ola. Hey, before we jump to the Q&A section, can I start with you, Ola, also on sort of sharing your final advice for aspiring learners and anyone who's joining us today?
Okay. First of all, thank you for that. My first advice will be to follow the rubric. You need to understand the grading of the professor. That will give you an idea of what the professor is looking out for. So my first advice is to take time to follow and understand what the rubric says. That would help you put you in a better pedestal to pass that course. The second is to take advantage of the resources that are available on the course. Like I said earlier on, they are not just coursework, they are also links to resources outside of the course. For me personally, I love listening to the TED Talks. I learn a lot from there. So I'd advise that, take advantage of all of those resources, because really they are very, really, really beneficial. And one thing I like to say finally is that if it's possible for you, is to ask your professors to provide feedback on each of your assignments. That will be immense for you. Now, I'm not saying that will always happen, because it might not happen. Sometimes they just grade you and that's it. But if it's possible to speak with your professors to say that, you know what, I'll personally appreciate if you can provide me feedback on each of my assignments. I think that would set you on a good pedestal to succeed. Thank you.
Fantastic advice. Thank you so much, Ola. I'd also love to hear Roji's insights on this and his final advice for aspiring learners.
Well, I think you just have to stick to how you started the course. Essentially, what will sustain you in your learning journey is really your purpose for starting. And I think that is something that all of us should always go back to, our core purpose. Number two is that if you're already a learner at Nexford University, always look at the assignments. I think Dr. Bill presented to us the example of the list of requirements in the course and the due dates in that, so that you'll be able to plan out your month or weeks, so that you'll be able to accomplish these courses further. And number three, our professors are very much accommodating. They're available 24/7. You can really reach out to them and they are able to answer queries. And I think that's something that I appreciate, because not all professors are very open to help out. And I think that's one good trait that Nexford University has actually exhibited over the past months that I've been with the university. And I hope that you'll try to join Nexford University, because this has been, for me, a learning field journey so far.
Okay, that's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing, Roji. And with that, we are ready to jump to the Q&A. I see that we've gotten a lot of really great questions, some of which our Nexford advisor on board with us today has been helping answer also on chat. But I will try to get to all of them, hopefully, or as much as I can of them live. With that, I want to start with this question from an anonymous attendee. It says, as a BBA beginner, can he or she take 2 courses in a month? Okay, that's a great question. And I would say it's not related to whether or not you've just started your program, but for anybody who's just enrolled at Nexford, you will be required in the beginning to take 1 course at a time, just for the first month. You need to complete 1 course solo, and then depending on the total GPA that you have from that, your total grades, you will be able to take more than 1 course at the same time. So the higher your grades are, the more you can take on additional courses. So the maximum number of courses you can take at the same time is 4. And you would need a total GPA of 4 in order to take 4. So it really depends on your grade. It depends on your ability to complete the courses, faster than the 2 months, and definitely your schedule as well. All right, we have 2 questions here from Teril Iq. First being, is there a maximum duration to complete your MBA? At the moment, there isn't a maximum. We only have an average duration, which is, what we can tell you, it can take about 1.5 years to complete your MBA. But why it is an average is because of how fast you can complete your program. So the maximum, I would say, is the deadline for each course, right? So each course at Nexford takes, like I mentioned a few times, 2 months to complete. So you do need to complete each course within that deadline. So if you go 1 course at a time, depending on how many courses you need to take within the MBA, that might, determine for you how many months maximum you would need to complete your MBA. And why do I say depending on how many courses you have in the MBA? Because while there are fixed courses you need to take in order, there are 9 core courses, and then either 3 specialization courses or 3 elective courses. It differs depending on whether or not you want to go for a general MBA or you want to go for an MBA with a specialization. It also differs if your previous, academic history, your previous bachelor's degree is already in a business-related field or not. So if it isn't in a business-related field, you may be requested to take 4 business foundation courses in the beginning. So all of these can sort of vary the duration of your program. All right, so I hope that answered your question. You also have another question here. Will we have access to the learning platform after graduation? Okay, that's a great question. And with that, let me share my screen again. So we do have something called Alumni Access. As you can see, once you graduate from your program, normally you would only have access to all of the features and your online platform and your studies and everything as a Nexford learner. So naturally, after you graduate, just shortly after, I believe you would no longer have access to that unless you decide to join something called Alumni Access. It's something you can join, sort of like a membership. You can go for $15 a month or $150 a year. So you'll see information on this also on our career page. And this will retain all of your access to the following here. So that includes everything I mentioned today, like LinkedIn Learning, the NXU Library, which has 60 million resources. You also get a Microsoft 365 license, and of course, all access to your courses. So you can learn more about that here. You can even request more information about Alumni Access. So I hope that answers your question. All right. Let's see here. We have a question. I spotted this. We have a question for Ola. We have Zaid Al-Sabia who's asking, how many courses do you finish monthly according to your experience?
Okay, hi, Zaid. Like I said, I'm not too forced about doing so much courses per time. So I'm just basically taking one course, and once I'm done, I go to the next course. So I usually, like Maya just said, a course will probably take you 2 months to complete, depending on how fast you are. Well, I'm just pacing myself as it goes. And I understand that a lot of people might have financial challenges and then they want to, do 2-3 courses at the same time just to be able to ensure that they finish faster. But I'm just, pacing myself and not want to, do so much to clog me. I succeed and do excellently in one than be average in several. So that's just my strategy, really.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you, Ola. All right, let's see what other question we have. Okay, I think I can give this one to Dr. Bill. There's a question from David that says, what is the grading system like? I mean, what figures do I need to score to hit a particular grade?
Well, the grading system is probably very normal in what you would respect. An A is over 90, a B would be in the 80s, C in the 70s, and so on. That does vary a little bit, but not too much. So you need to maintain a certain grade point average to graduate. You can't fail so many courses and so on. But this is not a huge issue most of the time. Someone who might have a little more trouble getting started might be more concerned with that. And I would almost venture to say it would be centered around writing skills. So submitting, getting help when you need it is critical to the overall success if you're having a problem in a certain area, and that help is certainly available. And I'll point out one thing here too that came to mind when I'm listening to Ola. We have some people who enroll, and I call them rocket learners. They get into a course, 5 days into the course, they submit every single assignment at once. I very much caution people against doing that, because if you made a mistake on assignment 1 and didn't correct it, you've got 5 more assignments with pretty poor grades. So it's always best to submit the first assignment first. Let them get the feedback, see how the professor looks at it. Every professor is different. And see what's important to that professor before you go ahead and spend a lot of time and then having to go back and correct it. This is one little side point I mentioned. But in terms of the grading, typically we will see B grades and A grades. Some people with the C grades may want to take a second look and spend a little more time with the writing help, with a particular topic help. In academics, we call them subject matter experts. My degree is basically focused in management and leadership, so I have a little more experience there than in some other areas. And we have other professors with a vast array of information that can help you. So I hope I'm answering that question. If you do a decent job, if you demonstrate your knowledge and understanding of the topic, you'll be fine.
Amazing. Thank you for the insight, Dr. Bill. We have a question here from Timothy. Can you please tell us about the community space? I learned that there are physical community spaces where students can go to, for instance, in Lagos, Nigeria. How do we have access? What are the facilities available to students in any physical meetups? This is a great and very, I would say, elaborate question. I would love to show you more about this. So you can have information on this right from our website, actually. So we do have these community spaces. What you said is correct. We currently have one in Lagos and we have another one in Abuja. So you can choose depending on what's closest to you. There's a booking page for that. You can book an appointment. So it has to be by appointment, sort of like a study day. You can stay for 8 hours. You can definitely meet other learners. We have had events around the world, including in Nigeria. So you'll see these are some photos from our previous events. So there are physical meetups. It may be more difficult during the pandemic, but whenever we're able to do those, we definitely do those. So I recommend you keep an eye on our event page for more information about these physical events we sometimes hold around the world. So I hope that answered your question.
I would like to add one thing about community. We absolutely have that service that Mai just mentioned, and that's great. But at the same time, I've worked with learners who had a community that developed with no guidance. I'm working with learners, and one particular learner, his mother made great bread, and this came out in the class. Over the course of the next month, we had people from China making suggestions. We had people from the Philippines making suggestions. We had people from Egypt and South Africa making suggestions about opening a bakery because mom made good bread. So eventually this went on. It's just developed naturally. No one guided it. And it was really cool. And I think the important point is this is what it's about. We're not talking about Amazon. We're not talking about giant corporations. We're talking about a learner whose mom made good bread and he's making a business out of it. So that is also a very important part of community when we talk about that topic.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for the story. All right. Can you guys hear me well? All right. Checking. Okay, so we have, I spotted a question here, so it's not in the Q&A section, but I did see it on the chat. We have a question from Ini Victoria who's asking, how are the exams? So I have sort of, it may be good news for you, is that at Nexford, we don't actually have exams. Instead, we have final projects and we have these assignments that are graded. So I mentioned that, in every course you take, it follows the same learning sequence, which is that you take 6 modules and end with a final project. So these modules are, they have, assignments at the end of them that are graded, as well as the final project is graded. So that's a total of 6 graded assignments, no exam, so it's not like school. That's how we form your grade and your performance. All right, we have another question for Ola from Oluwakemi, who's saying, how many months do you envision to complete your MBA program at your current pace?
Thank you very much for that. For me, really, honestly, I was just thinking about it. Like, I don't even have an idea when exactly I'm going to. I'm just comfortable taking it one as it goes. I know that in the next month or two, I'll move up to two courses. But as it is now, I'm okay with it. And then my last discussion with the success advisor, it will be sometime probably the end of the year or very early next year, I'll be done.
Hey, amazing. Early congrats to you then, Ola. I'm sure you can do it. I'm glad to hear your story by that time. I think when you go at the pace that you're doing, definitely by next year, it sounds like a good prediction.
Yeah.
Let's see, we have a question. I think we can take one final question, guys. I can see that, of course, our Nexford advisor on board has also helped answer a lot of your questions. If you have any more that you wanted to squeeze in before we ended the webinar, don't worry. We have a whole team that can answer you at any time, so you can WhatsApp us. I would ask our advisor on board to just share the WhatsApp number on the chat. You can WhatsApp us on that number. You can then reach out to any advisor on that line, and we'll answer any questions you may have. You can also email us at help@nexford.org. So anytime you have questions, I'm sure our team will be more than happy to answer them for you. And for those needing to sign out of the call, for the webinar, this is being recorded, and so you will receive a playback of this webinar. Okay, with that, let's take a final question just in time here from Caroline. Please advise whether the MBA is recognized in Kenya. That's a very good question. So the answer to this I would recommend is that you learn more about our accreditation and our licensing accreditation on our website. So we currently have learners from over 85 countries around the world. We have many learners from Kenya as well. The specific answer to that is because we are a new university and we are licensed in Washington, D.C. in the US, and we have an international accreditation from ASIC. We do not currently have regional accreditation per country because that is a process that takes quite a long time. So I recommend you read our accreditation page to learn more about what we currently have on board. And I assure you our team is working behind the scenes to get more accreditations around the world, or more recognition, I would say, in specific countries. Having said that, we have received feedback from a lot of Nexford graduates and alumni already that have been able to apply with their degrees around the world. So I would say for this question specifically for Kenya or for anyone around the world, if you have your eyes set on a specific institution or a specific job or something like that, I would recommend reaching out to them as soon as you can, because everybody has different policies to what they accept. So it would be difficult to answer per institution or per university. So I would recommend you ask them specifically. And if you need help with that, definitely reach out to our team. And if you need any documentation or anything like that, I'm sure our team will be more than happy to help you with that. All right. Wow, we're receiving much more questions towards the end, but we are running over here in the webinar, guys. But let me pick one last question. And for any we cannot get to, I do apologize for that. Like I mentioned, please send your questions to help@nexford.org or the WhatsApp lines and the Nigeria number as well that you'll see on chat. So please grab those the contact information and then just send us your questions. So let me pick one last question here. What's a good question? Let's see, Jackson, maybe Jackson, our graduation ceremony is held for your online students, and Jackson's from Ghana. That's a great question. We have held some physical graduation ceremonies around the world, specifically one in Nigeria, I believe it was last year, if I can recall correctly. We had one in Egypt as well. We are holding our US graduation ceremony later this year, which is a super exciting event. So you can definitely, if you are to graduate before the graduation ceremony that we have in the US, that is something you can join. So you can ask our team for help on this. If not, I think it's still an exciting way to graduate from wherever you are around the world with your friends and family. But Nexford is also working on holding hopefully a virtual graduation ceremony for those that are unable to travel to these specific physical graduation ceremonies. All right, we had got a lot of questions today, and I hope most of them were answered also by the advisor that we have on board. Again, if you have more questions, don't hesitate to reach out to us. And thank you so much for joining us today. Thanks for those who stuck in the webinar until now. I hope you enjoyed the webinar today. I hope that you got to see a more insider look on the Nexford learning platform and experience. And I hope you got a lot more insight also from our learners as well as Dr. Bill today. So thank you so much for your time. And thank you, Dr. Bill, Ola, and Roji for your time as well today.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank you so
us.
much for having us.
Welcome. Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.